For the last few weeks, it's been non-stop for my E90 335i, full bolt-ons with a tune and then off to the dyno, followed by an engine out service at Precision Sport Industries to get all the maintenance done, and then installing Doc Race's new DR700 bottom-mount single turbo kit. Now it was time to party, right? Well, not quite yet. The car needed one necessary upgrade if we were going to meet my goal of making 700 wheel horsepower. It's an upgrade that most people commonly overlook, and that's the fuel system. And we are back with more E90 content. It's been a very exciting week. We recently installed the bottom mount single turbo kit from Doc Race, the DR700. We want to make big power, but before we do that, we got to upgrade the fuel system. And this box right here is like over $2,000 worth of fuel upgrades. I decided to go overkill just to ensure that I don't run out of fuel when I'm trying to reach 700 horsepower with my car. So we got everything we needed, a stage 4 kit from Fuel It, and we pretty much checked off every single option on the product page just to make sure we have all of it. Laid everything down on the table so I can explain to you guys everything that came into the kit. Well, I'm gonna actually try. I'm not too familiar with a lot of these parts, but I am with some of them. So arguably the most important upgrade here are the dual fuel pumps. It's gonna replace the stock one that I have on the E90. Dual fuel pumps. I believe they come 450 standard, but you can upgrade them to 525 wall bore pumps, and that's exactly what I did. I paid extra to upgrade those to make sure that we have enough fuel. So starting on the right side, this was an optional thing that you can get with the kit as well. The Bluetooth module, the analyzer itself, and we have the harness. Essentially, this right here plugged in can measure accurately the amount of ethanol levels you have in the car. Right here, we got the FPR kit. It regulates fuel pressure. Pretty simple, self-explanatory. So right here we got the stage 4 PI to filter to ES. Essentially what that means is this line will go to the port injection, this goes to the stock fuel line, and then this runs over to the fuel filter. This long hose that you see here connects to the fuel pressure regulator, and it connects to the rest of the system. And then we have the primary feed line, the secondary feed line. The last two packages we have here is the power to the pumps, and then we have the wiring for the hop switch. Of course, Fuel is going to include their stickers as well. Nice touch. And some zip ties. So we're just about to start the installation, and we realized there's something wrong. So we're looking at this diagram here. So, you know, Fuel is really nice enough to include some, I guess, directions or a diagram. And Ali noticed something that's going to stop us or prevent us from installing the stage 4 kit properly.
Yes. So you have feed, which is the blue line, and this is the secondary feed line. It goes to your filter and then goes to the, which is primary right now, line feeding the port injection and then the high pressure fuel pump. So what we have on the Doc Race manifold is we only have one port, which is this, which works with the stock system, or if you have like a stage 3 pump, which doesn't require a return line. But for this to work, we need a return line, and then it gets regulated with the fuel pressure regulator right here, and then goes back to the return, which is on this.
So this setup is only an issue for the stage 4 kit because of the two pumps.
Because of that, and then obviously all of this that's included with it. And to regulate fuel pressure, you have to have the secondary port on your fuel rail on the port injection system. Ours has a single, and obviously we have a Doc Race manifold on there, so they only provided a feed line, but there's no return line. So basically we either have to switch to a PI plate
and run the stock manifold,
and then run the stock manifold, or we get a custom rail that has a return so we can attach our fuel pressure regulator to it.
Yikes.
And yes, that's a problem.
All right, so we kind of found a solution. I got a hold of the guys over there at Doc Race. We're gonna modify the fuel rail. We'll remove the fuel rail, send it over to a very kind guy that's next door. He's gonna go ahead and weld a fitting onto it, and we're gonna make it work. Went ahead and took the manifold off. Here's the fuel rail that we were talking about. As you can tell, where this, I guess where the fitting belongs, or where it's supposed to be at, it was welded shut because there's just not enough clearance within the engine to fit that. Some aftermarket fuel rails you can get, they'll have like a secondary fitting right here, and obviously the one on this side. I think the BMP one, I seen one of their kits earlier today. They do have the fit in here, but they have top mounted injectors, so it's a little bit different and it does fit. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get this over to the guys next door over there, and they go ahead and weld the fitting in for us. So when I was talking to the guys at Doc Race, they were telling me back when they made this manifold, which obviously they don't sell anymore. I think they're coming out with a version 2 very soon. But back when they used to make it, they had no reason to include a return line because people weren't using it. People weren't pushing that much power on these cars. I'm guessing with their new version, they're gonna have the option to have the 2 different fit-ins. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just in case you guys were wondering why this doesn't have it, but some of the newer manifolds do have a return line, well, that's the reason.
So you take this.
Bro, not the Russian accent, please.
Oh, sorry.
We need the Asian accent. No.
So what we're gonna do is take this, get the fuel out before we start welding on it, you know, because
very important.
Kaboom, kaboom.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna drill a hole right here, and then put this fitting on.
Where you guys get that fitting from?
Just thread this in. So we put this on. Obviously, it's gonna sit like this, and this is gonna be sitting right here. And then you put the fuel pressure regulator right here.
Right here.
Yep, this is where it connects.
Bad.
And then it goes back to the fuel tank.
We're making it work.
Yeah, sorta. So the last injector is right here.
You only got one shot at this. For old time's sake. Here's how the fuel rail looks after getting the fitted welded on. We tried painting it to match the rest of the rail, but we did a pretty bad job. It was time to start assembling everything together and get an idea how the end result would look. One thing I did forget to purchase when buying the Stage 4 kit was a fuel pressure gauge. It goes attached to the fuel pressure regulator so you can quickly and effectively monitor the fuel pressure. If one of the pumps went bad, it would be very easy to just glance at the gauge and know that something was off. Fuel It also told us to set the pressure to 65, so we kinda needed a gauge to do that. Luckily, we were able to get a hold of one for the meantime. Installing the fuel pressure regulator was pretty straightforward. The return line gets plugged into one side and then the other line goes over to the tank. The regulator also needs to supply a vacuum that it would get from the bottom of the intake manifold next to where the hob switch would be installed. Also guys, if you're interested in seeing what performance mods I have installed onto the E90, I'll leave all the links down in the description below. I'll also leave a code to save you some money on Doc Race's new DR700 bottom mount single turbo kit.
So we're gonna route multiple lines here. This is the feed line that's OEM right now. So we're gonna still utilize this line, but we're also gonna run 2 more lines going all the way here.
2 additional lines.
Yeah, 2 additional lines going all the way here and then going up into the tank area. Okay. And we also have to go around to this side as well.
A lot of routing.
All of that has to go in between these 2 holes.
Do you have to do any kind of like customization, cut in or anything like that?
Nope, you just have to route it a certain way so it can fit everything in there.
Yeah. So in other words, bring it to Precision Sport Industries, have these guys do it. On the E93 it had Spool Performance Stage 2. It was nothing compared to this. This like support like 1500 horsepower. Yeah, something that I'll never really reach with the N54. It's better to have more headroom than not having enough headroom. The good thing about the setup is that it fits just like normal low pressure fuel pump, but you got 2 fuel pumps in there instead of the 1. Oh, that's right. That's the fuel pump that only has 5 miles on it.
It's mine.
So yeah, before you guys try to message me that you guys want this fuel pump, Ali already his car's already taking a he needs it. Yeah, so to remove the fuel pump, it's a little bit more difficult because the last time we dynoed the car, we actually filled up the tank. It's better to upgrade or exchange it when you're on E. Best time to do it.
And when you have cuts on your hands, it feels very nice. It burns the bacteria off.
Crazy enough, if you look at it from like 5 feet away, they look almost identical, but then obviously you get close and you'll see that the upgraded one here has 2 fuel pumps inside. This one only has 1. Essentially, if you don't return your old one back to Fuel It, they do charge you a core fee of $150. As you can tell, they reuse the stock housing, the rods, the springs, the wiring and all that stuff. They reuse it to upgrade this one right here. So what I'm going to end up doing is, I think I have a few days or a few weeks or whatever to send this back to get my deposit back. But yeah, for the most part, they look almost the same with, you know, a couple of upgrades right here, and this is going to make a big difference overall.
Those gets plugged into the OEM.
Yeah.
This gets plugged into OEM, and those go back in here.
And in the top portion? Because it looks
Top
like it changes
portion
a
is
little bit.
different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's different there.
That I'll show you later. There you go. That's connected. Then we got these two dangling thingies. We fill the bucket.
All right, go, Mike. You're up.
I'm gonna spit in here, and you're gonna catch it with your mouth.
What channel are we running here?
You're such a simp.
All right, so this is the trickiest part, the routing part.
So you're gonna sit in the car,
I get to sit in the car.
and you're gonna sit on that side.
So hold on, would you say this is a two-person job?
Yes. No, you're gonna wait for me until I feed it.
Right.
But you gotta give me the
Bro.
flashlight.
What?
Good luck.
There's no room in
Good
here.
luck.
There's a 4-door with no room in the back.
I gotta go this way, and then pass it across the fuel tank, and then somehow end up on the other side where the fuel pump is. And I know there's people gonna be like, oh, why don't you just route it on passenger side? There's an exhaust there. Fuel and exhaust doesn't really blend well.
Nope, sure doesn't. Only you can prevent forest fires.
So the idea behind everything is Ali's underneath, he's routing the hose. He's gonna try to route it this way so I can pull it up here. And I think we gotta do that. Is it just for one hose we're doing that, or multiple hoses? Multiple. Yeah, multiple hoses, which is a little bit, I guess it's tedious, and it's gonna take some patience because he can't really see where he's routing it. Should be all right though.
Okay, this is our secret weapon.
That's what we're gonna use to route it.
Are you gonna hook it up to the hose?
You're gonna feed it to the front of the car where the fuel pump that I just installed. So I'm gonna magically somehow find this thing, and I'm gonna yank on it.
Routing the hoses definitely takes a good amount of patience. Having someone help you is always a plus, and communication is key. At first it was hard to route it in a way that I can grab it from the top, so Ali went ahead and disassembled a few things and sagged the fuel tank just a bit. Doing so made all the difference in the world, and I was able to successfully pull the hose into the interior of the car. I labeled it and we moved on to the next one. And this is why this is a two-person job. Yeah, 3 if you're gonna film it and put it on YouTube. This can probably be a one-person job, but it would take some finicking and probably 5 times the time to do it. Or you would have to just drop the entire fuel tank, and there you go. It'll be easier. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I got the tip. Bro, my hands are too big. Hold on. No, it fell. Okay. All right, there it is. I guess this is not really the most exciting type of video to watch, but it's very crucial if you guys want to make big power with your N54. You don't have to go quite stage 4, which is an overkill, but it's good if you're gonna, you know, catch that modification bug and just keep going, and you just want more power, then you got enough overhead with this kit. It was very important to make sure everything was routed correctly to the engine side before bolting everything on. Hop switch was installed in the back of the intake manifold, which is essentially responsible for activating the second pump when you reach a certain boost level. We were nearly done. Last thing to do was to connect the low pressure fuel pumps, and it was time to start the car. So this is one thing that I forgot to mention earlier when I was showing you guys everything that came with the fuel at stage 4 kit. Split second AIC, responsible for like the fuel that, you know, for the port injection. This is something you have to get separate. It's a must. You either go with this or you go with what is the company, fucking Motive has their like reflex kit, so you either do that or you do this.
Return goes this way, feed goes this way. You cut this like this,
Bunch of mummy dust back here.
and you put one on. That's a big one.
Giggity.
And that goes like that. So now we test.
There's only really one way to find out if everything was done correctly. And that is to start the car and hope for no fuel leaks anywhere. Or kaboom. Yep. We're that much closer to making big power, guys. All right, so all the upgraded fuel and stuff is done. Just need one more thing to do, and we'll be good to load the tune onto the car and start logging and stuff like that. Yeah, all this fun electrical stuff, that's the only thing that's left to do. Real quick, guys, before you leave, do me one solid. Make sure to hit that like button. It really does help. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe with the notification bell on. On the next video, we're taking the E90 to the dyno to find out how much power we can make out of the Doc Race DR700. It's not a video you guys want to miss.